Morning guys, hey, it's Len from Mercury Man Garage and Outdoors. Well, we're outdoors today. It's a little chilly, cloudy, a little breezy. It's going to be in the 60s today, the low 60s, so be good working weather to do a little more work on the shed. We just had some storms roll through about 2 days ago, some high winds, heavy rain. We didn't get a lot of damage around here, some trees down, but nothing major, some power outages. But the shed is still standing, so that's good. So far, so good with that. But we're gonna do rafters today. So let me show you what I got and my plan of action. Stay tuned. All right, guys, as you can see, I got 2 rafters already put in place. I just wanted to experiment getting them up there to see how they were gonna look and how I was gonna do it, basically. And how I did it was, what I wanted to do, let me start with that. What I wanted to do, and I forgot, was notch these. Notch up in here. I don't think it's that big a deal. I kind of got ahead of myself and just put them up before I notched them. I'm not gonna worry about it. You know, I may go with some of those hurricane ties, put those on there just for a little more support, but that's to be seen. But they're holding pretty good. I just want to get them up there and get a roof on. So that was my action plan for those. And what I think I'm gonna do for the remainder to get these so they're lined up fairly close all the way down is measure from here to here and put a line here. And then I think that's like 12 1/4 is this overhang. And I'm just gonna scribe a line right there. That way I can line them up all the way down on my header and get them close. I am gonna cut these off square eventually. Well, when I'm ready to do it, I'm gonna cut those off square. And I'll probably put a fascia on. I'm not sure on that yet, but I may do that too. But let me get going on, well, let me show you something first. Before I turn you off here, I want to show you the dimensions of these 2x6s that I got in relation to the 2x8s. If you remember, the 2x8s, they measured 1.5 by 7 1/8, 7 1/4, something like that. Well, these measure correctly. 5 1/2 by 1.5. So 2x6s at Home Depot measure out correctly. I mean, not exactly, they're within 1/16 of an inch, so this one's actually really short. So maybe I'm getting gypped on the 2x6s too. I don't know. But for the most part, they measure 1.5 by 5 1/2, where those 2x8s measured 1.5 by 7 1/8 to a 7 1/4. Just wanted to point that out. All right, I thought I'd get you up here a second to kind of show you my game plan. Actually, I got to turn those boards around because they're marked on the other side. You can see I already came up here the other day and marked off my 16-inch on center rafter locations. I thought I'd do 16, probably overkill, but you know, better be safe than sorry. It's not that big a deal. It's only a couple extra rafters. I was thinking 20-inch centers, but it's not that big a deal. So I went 16 and marked both sides. So now the thing is just getting these rafters up here and getting them screwed down. So let's get going on that. Okay, I got those boards flipped around, and I thought I'd just give you a little close-up shot of what I was talking about with drawing a line on there. That's about 12 and a quarter from the header to the end of the board. And that's what I measured on all these boards, 12 and a quarter. Line it up with the header, like so. These do want to kind of slide down if I'm not careful, so I got to pay attention to that. I might put my clamp up here, my DeWalt clamp, keep it from sliding down. But that's kind of what I was thinking when I said draw that line on there, to keep them in line. And like I said, I am eventually going to cut these soft flush anyway, so I can do the final adjustments when I do that. And as far as the overhang, like I said, it's 12 and a quarter on the back side. So that leaves you, and these are 12 footers. I don't know if I mentioned that. These are 12-foot 2x6s. And this is what I got on the front side. A nice, good overhang for the front. And I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it that long or not. But for now, I am. And see if that works. I like that, the fact of having a nice, long overhang in the front. So we'll see how that's going to go later on. All right, guys, thought I'd stop here a second. This is actually working really well with this clamp. I just clamp the rafter down, keep them from rolling down or sliding down this way, and then I toenail it in. I am pre-drilling the hole like I did with the stringers, just because, I don't know, I've never been a fan of toenailing, whether it be with nails or screws. I just never cared for that way of fastening lumber down. Seems to work okay. Maybe I'm just not that good at it, I don't know, but I always seem to split the wood. But with pre-drilling and screwing it in, it seems to be going pretty well. So that's the route I'm gonna go. And like I said, I may put some hurricane ties on there later on. Okay guys, I'm gonna stop right here because we've come up on our first, I guess, issue. This pole right here is kind of right in the way of where this rafter has to go. Here's my mark right here where I need it. And this sticks up too high. As you can see, I need to notch this rafter. I thought at first I would just trim this off with my chainsaw maybe at an angle, but as you can see on this side, if I can get over here, I have those lag screws right there. And I don't want to risk running into one of those with the chainsaw. I could pull them out and re-drill them a little lower, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to notch this, and I think that will work. So let's get going on that. I think that'll work just fine. All right, everyone, there we go. Rafters are on. And let me tell you, I'm glad that's done. That's not a fun job by yourself. I have tools that help, but still doing it by yourself is not fun, so. But it's done. And I think it looks good. Looks pretty straight down that back side. Got a 1 foot overhang on 3 sides. And the front side, it's got a nice big overhang in the front. And it looks nice and flat all the way down. And I don't even know if I'm gonna cut those off flush. I may, because I think that would be a cool spot for like metal signs or something, you know, along the front edge there. Maybe like license plates, things like that. I think that would look kind of cool. But I like that long overhang like that because I may be putting my splitter in here. May save one of these bays for my splitter and split in here, you know, when the weather's not good or something. I don't know, we'll see. But I think it turned out really well. Really happy with it. And like I said, I used screws all the way. And the toenailing went pretty well. I'm not a big fan of toenailing, but it actually went well when I pre-drilled. That worked pretty good, so pretty happy with that. But moving on to, let's see here. I think I'm gonna do stones next. Put down some fabric and some stones, maybe some hurricane ties, and then I'm gonna start loading it up with wood. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad to be done with those rafters. That's not fun to do by yourself, up and down ladders. It took me all day. I started at about maybe 10 o'clock, something like that, and it's 4 now, so. You know, I'm not rushing, I'm not hurrying or anything like that, taking my time. I don't want to get hurt. Took a little break for lunch, and I actually got a call for a lady that wanted 6 bundles of cooking wood, so took care of that for her. So that's good. Maybe business will start picking up with that, hopefully. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to do stones next, hurricane ties, and maybe some other things first. But I want to get some wood in here as soon as possible because I got a lot of wood sitting on the ground back there, and I want to get that in the something in that tree's making some noise. I don't know what it is, but anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Nice little project. Glad to get it done, and moving on to something else. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, please like, give me a comment, and remember, find your thing, guys.